Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here, battle from Goliath right now. This is some mad respect. Finally found a good opponent. Here's another 6v6 battle from Slowgrowth, a team I am never going to give up on. And you know what? That's like the basics of Pokemon right there. That honestly, right now, if you guys are getting into competitive and you are losing a lot, you're getting discouraged, you're trying to find a way, it's all about finding the team you want to perfect. It's all about finding the strategy, finding your playstyle, and really just working on it. So I just imagine that it's Slowking, Tangrowth, double Regenerator, super core, and then you have like a super defensive tank, a super special defensive tank, and you just make it work. And then, you know, you can switch out a couple teams around, or a couple Pokemon around, and you just play it up to those strengths. You also realize what your playstyle is. You get that slow adaptation. Also, the more and more you play the team, the better you're going to get out of it. So we're going to see like how cool of a 6v6 this turns into. Now that's going to be Noivern into the Excadrill, getting that flying type onto the Earthquake. You know, you push the limits of your team. You learn how the opponent responds to it, and then you respond differently in that regard. And that's like the magic of Pokemon battling right there. Going into the Mantine. Mantine's going to be a massive special defense tank, not taking any damage from the Noivern. Even after the Life Orb, remember, that was 30% more damage right there. And you just got to keep switching around, seeing what happens. But that's going to go into Maximo. Ooh, I was expecting Slowking because, like, it wouldn't matter at that point. But it also doesn't matter when you have the Fortress. And it looks like just getting the Fortress in, are we going to... How many entry hazards are we setting up is the question. Mantine doesn't want to switch out and give up some free stuff. Gets the Scald Burn, 30% chance, but that's going to be traded for Stealth Rock. I mean, Fortress is such a good Pokemon, too. It's absurdly tanky. And I guess what it wants to do is, like, Stealth Rock, Spikes, Explosion, GG. But going to switch out in this situation. No, another Scald. Then you don't really get to get too much done. Now Slowking is going to come into the battle. And that's going to be the Scald. Once again, how tanky. Very tanky. Oh, wow. Back-to-back burns for the opponent. But that's going to go into leftovers. So, yeah, we'll do slightly okay. And then we're going to end up taking a 16th at the end of the turn. After everything. This Mantine's an interesting Pokemon like that. Air Slash, plus the burn, plus the flinch. Whew, that's some brutality right there. And then leftovers into burn. I mean, like, does Slowking have rest? It's already looking really, really bad. Goes for the Psyshock, though. Physical damage in response to Mantine. And does a little, but it's not enough. And there's the Miracle. Wow. Yo, that Mantine's doing good, I gotta say. Alright, so there's leftovers, there's burn. I mean, we know we can survive. We have the leftovers. So Slowking's actually switching out, getting that Regenerator going already. And then we're going back into the Fortress. Ooh. Here's something that you're going to see quite a lot in Pokemon Battle, you know, either whether you're doing it or the opponent. You switch out, you try to do something, you actually lose a lot of advantage doing that, and then, you know, you give up something right there. Custap Berry. Oh, fancy. Alright. So Custap Berry Fortress, I mean, you double set up into Custap Berry, actually get something out of this. No. The Sableye switch. Was it the read? It was the read! Oh, it's all the Custap Berry. You know that only means one thing. That's going to be an explosion. And that's why you go into the Ghost type Pokemon and then you just completely destroy it. But I mean, see, if Fortress was already in on that, you know, you could layer on another Spikes. You can make the opponent's day just suck a little more. And then go into something. Now the opponent has a Mega Sableye. So we're going to see how the opponent responds to this Pokemon. I just totally lapsed right there. But yeah, we have Earth Power. Earth Power is not going to be insane. Yeah, right there. But going for that special defense drop and actually getting it. Sableye has Snarl, so I don't know. I think the opponent misplayed that. Even though it's a Snarl Mega Sableye, that's my set. I'm a fan of it. But the thing is, you want to go Calm Mind, then Snarl, because you get the priority first. And then your opponent starts losing damage. So Sableye actually getting pressured right here. Also, the special defense drop, not good at all. So you're going to need to go 2 Calm Minds to make up for that into the Snarl. Firewall on that Heatran is going to switch out. And then this is going to be time that we get... Ooh, okay. Alright, so things are getting fancy right now. We got the Will-O-Wisp in right there. But the Mega Absol is actually a good response because you got that Play Rough in there and you can't Will-O-Wisp. So going to have to withdraw Sableye after getting the +1 on that Calm Mind. And then Heatran responding. So Heatran has been on both sides of the field at this point. And now we're going to see what Absol does. Has a knockoff. So you just read that prediction mad damage on the Heatran, also making it lose mad damage into the Sucker Punch. That's how you play an Absol. Oh, not quite enough for the KO. Still pretty good. Earth Power's a lot of damage, but you just knock off for the safety if they switch, if they go for some shenanigans. Even though it is Choice Specs Heatran, so you know it's going to be pretty much Sucker Punch all the way. You just go for the reliability right there, and then Excadrill coming in. It's like, what do you do against the Excadrill? Like, your options aren't really too much. We have the Noivern. We also have the Protect, so it's like kind of scout the opponent, see what they're up to right here. And that is going to be Protect right there. Excadrill with that Iron Head. So you read, withdrawing the Excadrill for the opponent, looks like maybe tried to like anticipate the Noivern. Yeah, definitely anticipate the Noivern going into Mantine. And then sometimes you just have to make the stupid, I was about to say, I wouldn't have switched right there, because sometimes you just make those dumb plays. Like the stupider you play, the better you might get rewarded. So I mean, you could have set up some Swords Dance, you could have gone for raw damage. Mantine would not have liked that at all. And now Noivern actually responds to earlier, so we know it's Life Orb, not Choice Specs. And the Flamethrower was not a lot. So Noivern comes down that Draco Meteor. Ooh, I don't know. Like, Mantine's got some health left. Draco Meteor, not going to be enough to knock it out. But I guess that's still, like... Oh, no, and then the Mirror Coat. Oh, this Mantine special take, so strong. Oh, so much disgusting just tankiness, and it works. It's working. So see, then we're going into the Absol. That's going to be a knockoff. Mantine has done more than enough at this point. Being the result of 2 Pokemon, like 2.5 KOs or something silly like that. Now we're going into the Clefable. Clefable's going to take a little bit. Hey, that means we know it's an unaware Clefable. So going to switch out our Absol on that because you don't want to deal with it. But then we go into the Heatran. Heatran's like the ultimate fairy response. So Clefable's going to go for the Moonblast. That is going to be way too resisted. No damage right there. And Clefable doesn't really get to do too much. Like, as a Clefable main, I hate going in these situations. Like, even at +6, you can barely get over Heatran. But you don't, like, the Flash Cannon is still a lot of damage to respect, depending on how many commons you have. Going to Sableye, though, we know Sableye doesn't deal. Sableye doesn't deal. And that's going to be, actually, Flash Cannon's going to be more damage than we saw, or Flamethrower even. That's going to be more damage than we saw earlier. So, yeah, Sableye doesn't get to survive that. Also gets burned as well. So the opponent getting forced into a bad situation decides to give up Sableye over Clefable. You gotta say that was because Sableye was played poorly earlier. You know, if it Calm Mind earlier, wouldn't have been missing as much health, so it came in healthier on the recover and might have been a better Pokemon to keep. This is just a really just diverse battle. You know, it breaks down Pokemon battling really well. Now we're going into Excadrill. Excadrill has mad damage on that Earthquake. He knows Noivern's down, so I mean, there's no point not throwing out the Earthquake. So it's not really that great to stay in. Yeah, so Heatran has to switch out. And that's going to be Tangrowth in the response. So, you know, just go absorb either hit that comes your way. And there's the Earthquake from the Excadrill. So Tangrowth, that's going to be resisted. That's going to be pretty bulky as well. We haven't seen Slowking in a while. And then there's going to be the Earthquake. Tangrowth keeps surviving it. So, I mean, that shows probably... I mean, is that Scarf on the Excadrill? I haven't seen him switch out his moves too much. And we're going into the Amoonguss. I mean, Amoonguss doesn't get to do anything, though. Like, Amoonguss can't Spore Grass-type Pokemon. Sludge Bomb's not a lot. I mean, that's like one of the weird things when you get, like, a Grass versus Grass and you're carrying the Amoonguss. It starts to drag out there. What's a Tangrowth response? It's honestly what we need to be asking ourselves. Actually, Tangrowth is going to switch out, but it does have Regenerator, so you don't lose too much. Amoonguss also has Regenerator. But then going in Slowking... Amoonguss has Clear Smog, so I guess maybe expecting some kind of setup. It could Curse, I think. It can do some things like that. And Amoonguss is going to heal up. So, I mean, Sludge Bomb wouldn't have been too much. Looks like it has Clear Smog over Sludge Bomb, so you do get some intel right there. I mean, Slowking really needs a rest. That burn is going to be way too ferocious. Amoonguss is going to Giga Drain, but Slowking is a special defense tank. And Amoonguss doesn't have enough to take it out. So Amoonguss back up to full. Slowking, how's it going to do? Wow, Slowking giving itself up right there. Going for the Side Shock onto the Amoonguss, not enough to KO. Super effective damage. Went for the bold play, didn't really get it in the end. And it might, whoa, wait a second. Slowking's going to survive. No, never mind. Never mind. I got my numbers up wrong. I saw the 8 to 20, and for some reason I thought it healed more and it would have lost less than the 8. But either way, gonna take too much from that burn. Now we go into our Heatran. But at the same time, we get a good transition over here. Amoonguss does not want the Heatran. Flamethrower's gonna be able to finish it off, and then we play the Excadrill game. Excadrill comes in. So, Mold Breaker, it's gonna do a thing. Switch out the Heatran, you go into the Tangrowth, and then you just understand, like, what the opponent's going for right here. That's going to be the Iron Head. So, predicted the switch, but I mean, if that's like just the Scarf either way, it's not going to get you too much done. And then the opponent forfeits right there. So, yeah, all of his Pokemon were pretty much done. You know, Clefable could not deal with the Heatran, and then, I mean, that's why I thought the Iron Head was a weird choice. Like, even if you're throwing out the Earthquake, you're still doing, like, better damage, and just in case it, like, stays in and tries to blow you up. But overall, there was bulk, and then filth things happened. Even after falling behind quite a bit, just the opponent made some bad decisions, Goliath made some bad decisions, then the game was over. Just like that. But, I mean, I don't know what you can say about that Slowking. Like, yeah, true, in a perfect world, it could rest, but then it's also not tanky enough to survive after that unless the opponent's running, like, a super tanky team. But while you're asleep, you could go, like, double Regenerator and maybe try to burn through some turns with that heal. I don't know. The back-to-back burn was just really great. Like, that Mantine put in the most work on the opponent's team, and that was very impressive to watch. Tangrowth was pretty cool as well. I think the team just lacks damage, but, I mean, the Northern's there for some sweep. So it looks like, you know, it's a lot more reliant on that Fortress. That Fortress wants Stealth Rocks, it wants Spikes, and then it wants to just, like, force out your opponents while you're getting better switches in the end. And then you have the Mega Absol. Mega Absol, if they do lead with a Pokemon that's going Stealth Rocks, Spikes, or any kind of entry hazard, you Magic Bounce it back just in case. Or you also just always have that Mega Absol switch in. That, you know, if you feel the status or some kind of setup is coming in, you bring in the Mega Absol, you stop it out right there. And Mega Absol is good damage, but it does take a lot of work. I mean, the team still won. The team still won. The opponent's team was really disgusting as well. So it works in a really weird way. I'm still trying to figure out how it happened, but it did. So good job. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Got some more Fan Fridays coming up.